Five Nights at Freddy's has consistently been one of the biggest games on YouTube. Not because people enjoy playing it, but because it is so enjoyable for people to watch. Not many people actually have played the game. It's a game that works way better for entertainment than it actually does for gameplay entertainment. It makes entertaining videos, it doesn't make entertaining gameplay, typically. During the heyday of Five Nights at Freddy's, Markiplier produced one of the most seen videos in the gaming community of all time. This is a video that everyone at your school knew about, everyone there talked about, and if someone says they like FNAF, or they say they like Markiplier, you expect this video to be relevant to them. They know about this video. I believe Markiplier is considered the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, not because of his skill level, but instead because of the content he creates around the game. I think there is a huge section of the FNAF audience who have never touched the game, but have watched every Markiplier video of the game multiple times. Markiplier's runs on the highest levels of FNAF are most likely cheated. Because of this, we will be watching a TheBones5's video critiquing Markiplier's cheated runs. We will go through, watch the entire video in its entirety, while also pausing and talking about my experience with cheating in the cheating in the gaming community, cheating in the Pokemon community, and much, much more. If you would like to see only the breakdown of Markiplier, how his runs are cheated, please go watch the TheBones5's video. That's where you're going to get that content. If you would like to see someone talk and expand upon that video, you're in the right place.
Any point since the now 11 years since the first FNAF game
11
came
years
out, then there's
crazy.
no doubt that you know who this guy is.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome to
Markiplier is often credited with the explosion of FNAF's popularity.
That first video there, that 125 million view Five Nights at Freddy video, everyone in my friend group saw it individually. No one shared it with each other. No one was like, you have to see this video. Everyone in my high school have seen this video. And everyone in middle school at the time saw that video. Like, that was the biggest thing when it first came out. And it made sure that everyone knew what the game was. It's absolutely crazy how big this video got. Markiplier was already big, like a household name for people who watched YouTube at that point. But this was like, it is more weird to me if someone goes, I watch YouTube, and they haven't seen that video. I think that would be odd.
To mainstream culture back at around 2014 to 2015. In combination with the other Let's Play YouTubers and YouTubers that focused on the lore of the series, Mark's gameplay videos offered viewers a way to experience FNAF without actually playing the games. Though Markiplier was known for more than just playing through these FNAF games. Today, he's often referred to as the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, and the reason for that is his completions of FNAF's max modes. You see, in every Five Nights at Freddy's game, the main game is just that, Five Nights at Freddy's. It spans over the 5 nights.
I think a lot of people also use Markiplier as like the game comes out. I think more people are excited to watch him play the game than people are to actually play the game themselves. Like, it's a really weird concept now. And I've argued this with certain games, that they almost struggle when they are too much fun. Take a game like Repo. Repo is not as much fun to watch as it is to play. FNAF is way more fun to watch than it is to play. Once you know the mechanics of FNAF, unless you go harder and harder into like challenge modes, there's not really a fun, like FNAF isn't a fun game. It's a fun game to have a fan base around. It's fun to be in the community, but it itself are not fun to play usually. It's good for like 1 or 2 jump scares, and then it's good for completion. And then once you're done, most people just don't touch it at that point. There's no reason to go back unless you're filming for content and whatnot, in my opinion.
That you'd see in a normal work week. But once you complete night 5 of the main game, some additional content is unlocked with a new 6th night, with the animatronics on an even harder difficulty. Complete that night and you unlock the custom night, where you can now create your own night by manually adjusting the AI of each animatronic, making them harder or easier. Since the max difficulty setting of every animatronic is 20 AI, it didn't take long until players began to attempt 420 mode, or 2020-2020 mode, mode as it was called back then. Markiplier was one of these players,
420,
and on August 21st of 2014 would complete the original 2020 mode in FNAF 1, demonstrating his skill within the game. Around 3 months after the original FNAF had blown up in popularity, FNAF 2 released and continued to build the hype around the series. In this new game with more than double the animatronic count of the first, viewers were eagerly waiting to see if the King of FNAF would attempt the now hardest challenge within the series. All 10 animatronics in FNAF 2 set to 20 AI or 1020 mode. And on December 14th of 2014, Markiplier would do just that, uploading a video in which he completed 1020 mode in FNAF 2. This was the video that really cemented Mark's place as the King of FNAF. But as the years went on and people began to understand more and more about how these FNAF games work under the hood, some questions began to arise as to whether or not Markiplier legitimately completed 1020 mode in Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
So let me explain this before he gets into it, because I have not seen this video. I have seen his breakdown in his Iceberg video. So let's see how much of that I remember. I believe they realized that Markiplier cheated because there's characters that have to show up at certain intervals. So like, I'm just going to use the example, and this might not be true, but say Toy Bonnie. Toy Bonnie is supposed to show up every 5 seconds in the right vent. I'm making shit up right now. Like, let's just say that that's the case. Markiplier would go like 15 seconds not seeing Toy Bonnie. Well, that is physically impossible with the AI unless you like stun him in the camera. But you can watch his gameplay and see that he's not stunning them using the lights in the camera. Like, it's something like that where it's like there's a character that needs to show up at a certain period of time that never shows up in Markiplier's gameplay, so we can assume that that character is turned off. Also, the way FNAF 2 works, I believe you don't get the 3-star ending for completing Golden Freddy, which are the 1020 mode. I believe you get that for completing... I don't know if it's... Maybe it is for completing Golden Freddy, but Golden Freddy isn't... Yeah, Golden Freddy would not be the 1020 mode. I believe that's the case. Golden Freddy is a mode that gives you the 3-star unlock, but the 1020 doesn't give you that. So Markiplier does the 1020, and then shows the 3 stars as if that's proof of completion, but it wouldn't be. I believe that's where this goes. I don't know though. Let's continue on.
Animatronics seem to be missing from certain parts of the video, and there seem to be some weird cuts all throughout it. And those suspicions are what we are here to investigate today. Before we continue with this video, I do want to make it explicitly clear that I do not hate, nor do I want people to hate Markiplier.
Good.
I grew up watching Markiplier. Markiplier is one of the most genuine and down-to-earth people on this platform. I don't want this video to seem like a hit piece.
Markiplier is reasonably and should reasonably be the face of YouTube on the gaming side of YouTube. He has gone his entire career here with so minimal controversies. And you see all these other big YouTubers have controversies. And Markiplier has been relevant still. Like, I believe he's starting a new series. That whatever the series was, I never watched it. My girlfriend at the time did. Where him and his friend would post on a channel like every day for a year and then just delete the channel at the end. I believe they're doing that again. That's crazy. Like the commitment this dude has on YouTube, whatnot, and to just do like passion projects, whatnot, and stay out of trouble on everything. It's crazy. He's like to the point that we're saying a decade ago he might have cheated in a video game video, and everyone who's watching is going, yeah, that's okay. Like, he's such a good guy that no one cares. Like, I don't even think it's a big deal if he did cheat. Who cares?
Made out of pure hate.
I care enough to watch this video, but I'm more interested in it than
I just think it's cool that the technical FNAF community is so knowledgeable about these games that with just 15 to 20 seconds of footage, we can tell exactly what's happening within the game. It also gives me an excuse to go a little bit deeper into my favorite original FNAF game that hasn't been seen on this channel in detail in quite a long time. Regardless of what your opinions are, remember it's just a game that he played 10 years ago at that. Don't go into Markiplier's comments and harassing him. Please keep things to yourself, be respectful, and most importantly, enjoy the video.
Because also remember, Markiplier isn't making money because he's completing games. He's making money because he's making entertainment. If you were entertained by that video, it doesn't really matter if it was cheated or not. You got what you came there to see. Now, if he pitched himself as, well, I completed all the Five Nights at Freddy's, right? If he pitched himself like that, it would be way bigger of a deal. He's never have that. When he says he's the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, view-wise on YouTube, he probably is. There's people who probably only know Five Nights at Freddy's as the Markiplier game.
Now, before we talk about what was truly going on in Markiplier's video itself, I'm going to spend the first part of this video talking about exactly how FNAF 2 works. I won't be going over how everything in this game works, as it does get very deep with some super niche information. I'll just go over everything that is relevant in order to investigate Markiplier's completion.
So I will watch this entire video. I might cut this section out. Like that might be what I don't react to. I want to react more to the cheating scandal aspect of this, but I'm going to react to the whole thing because that's kind of my goal. My goal is to watch the whole thing and try to look at it from an outsider perspective as a Markiplier fan into the TheBones5's fan. Like, even just being a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I'm curious to follow the journey, but if there's entire parts that are like AI breakdowns, which I enjoy, I want you to go watch TheBones5's for like him explain it. There's no reason for me to watch him explain it and then go, oh, that's cool, and post it on my channel. That's not fair. Now, him talking about the allegations and me kind of joining in and talking about that aspect of it, I can add to that. I can't add to the AI breakdown of Five Nights at Freddy's characters. I'm not that smart and I don't know the game that well. So, if you notice I cut big portions of his video out, it's because I want you to go watch his video. Like, TheBones5's deserve your views way more than me. I want you guys to watch him first and then come watch me and go, oh, how did this loser react to it? I want that to be more my content.
Because of the nature of this video, whenever I talk about anything relating to how FNAF 2 works, I'll put the source code from the FNAF 2 MFA file in the bottom left corner here to show exactly where I'm getting my information from. And before anyone comments about this, yes, all code and gameplay that will be showcased in this video is from version 1.031 of FNAF 2, the same version that Markiplier played 1020 on. The first and most basic thing to go over applies to almost every animatronic in the game, and it's how they move throughout the building. Most FNAF games operate on a system known as movement opportunities. This concept can be broken into two pieces: AI values and intervals. In FNAF 2, all intervals are exactly 5 seconds. This does get a bit wonky on older patches, and we'll get into that later.
I said 5 seconds. That's probably where I got the 5 seconds from earlier, by the way.
But just for the sake of this explanation, assume that every interval is exactly 5 seconds long. On every 5-second interval, all regular animatronics within the building will have a chance to move based on their AI value. Foxy and Golden Freddy here work a bit differently, but they aren't really that relevant for anything in Markiplier's completion, so we won't have to talk about them here. Okay. Now, let's use Withered Freddy as an example for how movement opportunities work. We could pick anyone in this group here, but Withered Freddy is my favorite animatronic of all time, so we'll go with him. Withered Freddy starts out in the...
Is that a weird favorite? Trying to think if that would be considered a weird favorite. I think Foxy is probably the favorite of most people who don't actually like hyper fixate on the game. Like, Foxy to me would be almost like people liking Pikachu or Eevee when it comes to Pokemon, where it's like, oh yeah, okay, I know you liking him already tells me about your base level. Same with, like, if someone likes Chica, I know that they're probably the same like Pokemon fans who like Vaporeon and and Gardevoir. Like I can tell what kind of gamer you are based on your favorites, obviously. Golden Freddy is more for the mysterious people, and that I think Bonnie is like the cool answer. Bonnie's badass. He was the hard one, and like I think everyone's first death came from Bonnie in FNAF 1. Like, I'd go with Mangle. I think Mangle's a cool concept. I like the idea of animatronic that's torn apart and kids can kind of play with the parts and whatnot, and then it's just like it's dragging its body to you. Like, but I think the new movie is gonna ruin Mangle for me. So we'll see after the we'll see after the FNAF 2 movie if I still like him.
Parts and service room, and on his next successful movement, we'll move to the main hallway. So on the next 5-second interval, the game looks at Withered Freddy's AI value. For this example, let's say his AI value is 10. Now, the game will roll a random number between 1 and 20. If this number is less than or equal to Withered Freddy's AI, he will move into the main hallway. Think of it like the animatronic rolling a 20-sided die in order to determine if they're going to move. In fact, this analogy has been used so much that you can almost think of it like the frame rule bus analogy from Super Mario Bros. Speedrunning in FNAF terms. If you've been paying attention, then you might...
I also wonder if more games run on like that style mechanic where it's just, here's a random number. If that random number gets hit, character does X. Because it adds a sense of randomness to something that is absolutely not random whatsoever. It's like, this is also though why some characters are actually easier on 2020 mode or 1020 mode, whatever the max mode is because if you know that interval is going to get hit every time, like he just said, at level 10 you need a 10 or lower. If at level 20 every movement he's going to move, well, if you know he's going to move every movement and every movement is 5 seconds, you know, okay, he's, let's say, 5 away. Okay, every 25 seconds, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, he's there. Like, he'll be there at that point. So you know when to block it. You could just block the doors every 25 seconds. So you almost have to add a sense of randomness even to that. If it was 20, he has to fail sometimes, or his interval will actually be perfectly consistent the whole night. I want more games that are not Five Nights at Freddy's clones to take this concept, though. Like the AI concept of, when will they enter this room? Well, they will if this generates. Like, and maybe more games do. I don't know a lot about game coding. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never been a coder. But it's entertaining to me. It really is.
I have picked up on the fact that when the game rolls the random value to compare against Withered Freddy's dice roll, it's a value between 1 and 20. The same range of values that we see on the custom night screen. This is why 20 is the max difficulty, because on 20 AI, it wouldn't matter what Freddy rolls. He's always going to be rolling a random number less than or equal to 20. So he's always going to be moving on every 5-second interval. To simplify this further, however high an animatronic's AI value is, that AI value over 20 is their percent chance to move. So for 10 AI, what's the chance? 50%. 15 AI, 75%. 5 AI, 25%. Now, there are a few things within FNAF 2 that we have to talk about regarding animatronic movement in combination with movement opportunities. Firstly, animatronics cannot move backward.
I might have changed my mind from earlier. I think we're leaving all this in because this is super freaking entertaining to me. I might have to just make this video as like a huge ass, like 2-hour long video and just start at the beginning going, yes, I know it's 2 hours long. I react to stuff. And when I react to stuff, it's not just a Hassan, I'm going to put it on and walk away. I am here to react. And I also don't like talking over the video. So this is my type of content. If you don't like it, if you're going to sit here and go, what, a 45-minute video and it's not just an hour-long reaction? Yeah, no, I add content to this. This is what I think a reaction YouTuber needs to do. Having said that, again, I want to give you a different experience than watching the TheBones5's video. Go watch his video. This guy is excellent at this. Like, him and Astral Spiff right now are probably the biggest, like, and they're in such different genres of the Five Nights at Freddy's community, but I think they're holding up the community right now. They're the reason Five Nights at Freddy's is still popular, in my opinion. At least it's keeping people like me around, at least.
In FNAF 2, every regular animatronic has a starting camera and a return point. The starting camera is where they will start at the beginning of the night, and the return point is the camera that they will return back to after they're cleared from the office by using the Freddy mask. As you can see in this clip, after Toy Bonnie leaves the office, he does not go back to Cam 9, but instead returns to a closer camera. For some characters, these cameras are one and the same, but for others, their return points can be much closer to your office than their starting cameras. The only regular animatronics that don't follow this movement rule exactly are Mangle and Withered Freddy, who have two 50/50s in their movement paths. Everyone else makes a beeline straight for your office. This will be super important for later in this video, so remember that animatronics cannot move freely around the building like in FNAF 1, 3, 4, or 6. They are always on a direct path towards your office. Secondly, animatronics in FNAF 2 are never truly at 20 AI. Even when set to 20 AI in the custom night, FNAF 2 will hard cap most of the animatronics AI at 15, with Golden Freddy being capped at 10 and Withered Foxy capped at 17. The reason for this is to keep some randomness at play even on 1020 mode. So
there you go. That's how they do it. So they lie to you essentially. The game says it's at 20, but it's actually at like 15, and that 5-second difference that gives you some rolls where the animatronics won't roll, like they won't move. This makes 2020. Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, remember that for all regular animatronics, even if you set their AI value to any value between 15 and 20, the game will cap it at 15 when you enter the night. So we know that on 1020 mode, every regular animatronic has a 75% chance to move on every 5-second interval. Keep that in the back of your head as it's going to be super important later. Now, before we move on to analyzing Markiplier's video, I'd like to give thanks here to It's Taken for helping me with this section and everything that you're going to see from here on out in this video. Now,
also, TheBones5 has, in his video, in his description, I already grabbed these, he has a list of people that he credited and thanked for it. I don't know if I'm supposed to show that, like, I'm, as a reaction content guy, I'm not sure if that's, like, if I should, like, at those people and be like, hey, thank you guys for making a content that I'm also reacting to. Like, I don't know how far down the line that is. Like, if I react to someone's video, am I supposed to thank their editor as well? I'm not really sure. I assume not. Like, I don't think that's culturally, like, what we were expected to do. But I don't know. Like, these are the people who actually, like, came up with this concept and, like, proved that Markiplier cheated. I feel like they all deserve the credit. So my description might have them. My video, I might just show them on screen right now. I don't know, but I do want to credit them in some way.
with all of the background knowledge out of the way, we can discuss Markiplier's video itself. Before we get into the math or anything, it's important to consider why we're even suspicious of this run in the first place. Well, to put it simply, it's because Markiplier didn't include the full uncut run of 1020 mode. But it's not just that. Yes, it is strange that he didn't include the full completion, especially considering that for both Sister Location and FNAF 1, max modes that he did before and after 1020 mode, he did leave in the full run. But you might be saying, well, Mark cut his runs of 420 on FNAF 4 and Nightmare Aggressive.
One second. This screen, I want your guys' opinion on. To me, peak Markiplier in my life was not 2014, it was 2016. When he had the red hair and whatnot. I think people associate this though with like their best points of life. And my best years of my life were between 2016 and like 2020. Honestly, like right before the pandemic era, like I think that is like the golden age of my life. It was when I started college. I met my fiance in that time. I had a great college life and an at-home game group that was still intact at that point. Like now I don't have the college life or the college group, and my at-home friend group has shifted. I still have a great friend group, mind you, but it's essentially the OG crew is completely replaced at this point. I think we have 2 original members left. Nevertheless, this is, so I associate like Markiplier with the red hair. I'm like, that was the best period of my life. And it's like Sister Location. It's like, yeah, that was 2016. I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, I really like that game, but it would have been right before I went off to college. I was still a huge Five Nights at Freddy fan. I don't know why I said it like that. I was still a huge Five Nights at Freddy fan, even in college. But like 2014, like that one, I remember that so long ago, but I would have been like just starting high school at that point. Like, and I remember talking to people about like that video, but that hasn't made the impact of like, if I go back and watch Markiplier, I don't really go back that far. I'll either watch like a huge compilation of his Five Nights at Freddy's stuff that was like 7 hours long. That's the YouTube content I'm into. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm a zombies player. I like content that takes forever to get through so that I don't have to keep switching videos. Nevertheless. But yeah, I will watch like, but if I like go in, I'm like, I want to watch something more modern. I will either do Sister Location. I'll watch him actually play through Sister Location. I'll watch him play through. I like Pizza Simulator, but now I think I would just watch Astro Smith play it. I think he's way more entertaining when it comes to that. But I think Markiplier playing Security Breach was one of the funniest selection of Five Nights at Freddy's videos ever made. And like that's the newest, well, not newest now, but that was a newer game compared to all these ones in the past. It was a horribly made game, but I remember I was in tears laughing at one point where he's yelling at Freddy and Freddy's just like running around the map and not helping. Like, so also, dude, you know what's crazy? Like doing YouTube now and like getting some videos that are over like 1,000 views. I know, crazy, over 1,000 views. 40 million views doesn't even seem realistic. And then you look at the 18 million views and you go, man, that doesn't seem like a lot. It's like, that is crazy. His first FNAF win got just over 2 times, about 2.5 times as many views as his sister location one. And that sister location one, that video would feed like entire family for a year. Like, if anyone got that amount of views on a channel, that would seem so cool. I wonder if Markiplier ever looks at that though and go, "Oh, that's nowhere close to the OG ones." That's like, I wonder if he ever feels that way, where it's like, man, I'm falling off. My friend group and I just had the conversation about the FNAF crew, where I'm like, they're still going strong. And they're like, no, they're not. All their videos, some of them don't even make 1 million views. I'm like, you're talking about someone not reaching 1 million views as if it's a failing YouTube channel? Like, I follow YouTubers who literally never reach 100K in a video, and they do it like full time because they just produce so much content with that. Like, this, people are just so out of reality of how big Markiplier is compared to the average YouTuber.
But you might be saying, well, Mark cut his runs of 420 on FNAF 4 and Nightmare Aggressive only on FNAF 3, so why aren't we talking about those as well? It is true that he cut the footage up in FNAF 3 and FNAF 4. However, I'd like you to pay attention.
Also, I will say this is going to be and he might correct this. So, mind you, it's 3 seconds into this reaction, this might not be worth anything anymore. FNAF 1 was before this, but then he cut 2, 3, and 4. And then came back for sister location, which was essentially 5. There's a few things here. It could be an editing style. Like, these 3 games, he just was doing a different editing. You would have to go back and watch the other videos he was posting around that time. Maybe the long form style just wasn't his thing. Or, yeah, maybe he cheated those 3. But sister location is not an easy game. Like, if he came back to, like, I think most people would say 3 has so many random mechanics. Like, you could legitimately just lose in 3. There's ways of losing that, even playing like a perfect run. There is no perfect like run. I think there might be now, but it's like task assisted perfect run. But 3 is never perfect. 4, I think most people have as one of their easiest ones though. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think 4 is widely considered one of the easier Five Nights at Freddy's like max modes. I know 1 is the easiest, but that's now. We know that mechanic so well. So, it's weird. Like, you would say that he cheated on 2 and 3, which are the 2 hardest. And 4, which is not hard. Like, I don't know. There's some... But sister location is hard, but he didn't cheat on sister location. It's weird. Because I don't... Markiplier might have cheated because he felt the need to get the video up so quickly because... he does like a video every day, at least back then. I know he was like the most consistent YouTuber at the time. One of the. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think in my head, okay, say I cheated. Let's switch it more to my wheelhouse. Let's go back to Pokemon. Why would I cheat? Like, what if I did a speed run on Pokemon Red and then Pokemon Crystal, and then cheated on Pokemon Emerald, and then didn't cheat on Pokemon Platinum? Like, it seems weird to cheat once. You know what I mean?
Attention to the placement of his cut at the end of his FNAF 2 run specifically. Here, I'll play the clip.
I'm sweating, I'm crying, that was awesome and awful, I hate it, I never want to do it again. Okay, so on the rumor mill, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, oh, I need a minute. Okay, so the rumor is Five Nights at Freddy's.
After Markiplier completes the night, he doesn't just go to the custom night to show off his Golden Freddy star, or even re-enter the night to show off the Golden Freddy plushie that you obtain from beating 1020 mode. Instead, he insists that he has to catch...
Was that a thing at the time? TheBones5's says he's playing the same version. I feel like that would have been added on later on, but maybe not.
his breath after beating the mode, then transitions using a crossfade to the custom night screen where Golden Freddy mode is marked as completed. At no point do we ever see Mark go from the menu to this Golden Freddy screen all in one cut. This led people to speculate whether or not Markiplier had played on an easier difficulty than true 1020 mode, then passed the recording off as legitimate by cutting up the footage. In fact, Mark even acknowledges cutting the footage in this exact way as suspicious in his FNAF 3 Nightmare Aggressive Only completion, in which he did a very similar cut.
Aggressive nightmare mode. That is aggressive nightmare mode. Complete, legit, done. Not that it matters because my webcam fell over and I could have cut in between there like, yeah, I was doing Fast 9 no errors radar. But god damn it. Oh man.
The only reason that we aren't talking about that run as well is because there's virtually nothing to go off of in his winning run. Whereas in FNAF 2, as you'll see, there is quite a bit of evidence.
So if that's true, arguably, we could make the argument that Markiplier cheated in 3 different FNAF games. I mean, if he cut 1, 3, and 4, would it even matter though? Like, do people need to have that video up? Because now I'm looking at it from 2 different perspectives. Would his community really cared if he didn't complete it? If he just made a video going, guys, I can't freaking do this. Like a highlight of failed attempts on that. He wouldn't be considered the king of Five Nights at Freddy's at that point, but like my only concern I have, and I'm not mad at Markiplier, I'm not gonna make, how many people saw him do the 2020 version of any game and then went, oh, okay, that's good. When if Markiplier instead made a video saying, hey, I can't do this, how many of those people went over to, who's the guy, like any of the other like content creators who are purposely trying to get the 20 mode? Like, I'm trying to, is it DJ Surf? I want to say, God, that doesn't sound right, but that might be right. Like, he was really good at the game mechanics. How many people did Markiplier take the views away from? Because if he just said, like, I can't do this, the people would went on to go look for someone who could. Is that Markiplier's responsibility? Absolutely not. Am I mad at him for it? Absolutely not. But that is something to think of here. If he's cheating these runs, and he did for 3 games in a row, how many people who legitimately did a run could have had a 1 million view video if Markiplier just said, I can't do it, and the next recommended video is, I actually did it. I completed the 20... That's where it's sketchy to me. If he did it once, it's kind of like, yeah, he did it for the entertainment. He did it 3 times, it would be like, dude, you're not gonna find... That's fine. Like, I'm not gonna cheat Nuzlocke in Pokemon because I suck. I'm bad at the game. I'm not a high round record holder in zombies because in reality, for as much as I play the game, I'm not as good as the people who actually are good at the game. I don't know. It's sleazy, but again, the entertainment was there. The people watching Markiplier probably didn't care. His fans don't care. The FNAF community probably doesn't care. I don't know. It's weird to me.
I guess the idea might have been a bit fresh in his mind. As early as 11 years ago, a user named Villain Decay brought this up on the r/FNAF subreddit, and I promise, dude, I will avenge you because this man got mauled in the replies.
Oh, yeah.
So let's rewind a bit. We know that Markiplier is
So remember, oh man, I've done too much Felicify content in Pokemon. Remember, just because you're right doesn't mean people agree with you, and that's what sucks. Someone can come out right now and say Markiplier cheated all his runs. If I want to be like Felicify, I would just, every video would be Markiplier cheated, Markiplier cheated, Markiplier cheated, Markiplier cheated. The FNAF community is not going to care even if he did cheat. So now the conversation is, okay, if he cheated, who cares? Is it just fun to talk about how he cheated? Is that really fair? Like, the same thing happened with Wolfie in Pokemon. He absolutely cheated. He absolutely gen his Pokemon. No one considers that cheating, so no one cares. Technically, it's against the rules. So then the argument is you get some of these people who get obsessed about it, and then the community also go, he didn't cheat, he didn't cheat, he didn't cheat. And it's like, well, do you care if he cheat? If he did cheat, I don't even care. Then why are you even part of the conversation? Who cares? Like, you're fine either way. Like, that's my whole argument with the Felicify situation is, yes, Wolfie cheated. No one cares. Like, no, but people will go, well, he cheated. Everyone should care. Well, those same people should be pissed at Markiplier right here, but I don't know why anyone would be. Who cares?
constantly cutting up the footage throughout the video. So the only footage that matters to us right now are the last 18 seconds after the last gameplay transition, from 9:09 to 9:27, since this is the only raw footage that we know for a fact is from the winning run. If we look closely at this footage, you might notice that something seems a little bit off. Here, I'll play the clip in full.
Let's see if we can catch it, as someone who's not a big Pokemon fan. Or FNAF fan. My guess is we never saw a toy. We never saw Toy Bonnie, who I think we just learned how to block. So Markiplier wouldn't have known that back then. We never saw Toy Bonnie. We never saw Toy Chica or Toy Freddy. So would all the toys be out? That seems too obvious though.
If you don't see it at first, within Mark's footage, there isn't a single sighting of any toy animatronics whatsoever. We only directly see Withered Freddy and Withered Chica. But it doesn't just end there. Remember earlier how I said that movement opportunities and that 75% chance would be really important for this video? Well, there happens to be two characters that make the likelihood of this run being legitimate decrease drastically. They are Balloon Boy and Mangle.
Oh, okay.
Now, what makes Balloon Boy and Mangle special in comparison to the rest of the toy animatronics that are also missing is that they both have distinct sound cues that they play when they move throughout the building, meaning we're able to know if they fail movements even if we can't directly see them. Balloon Boy's movement path is as follows. He starts in camera 10, then moves to camera 7, then 3, 1, 5, and your vent blind spot. He doesn't have renders for cameras 7, 3, and 1, but based on the code that I'm showing in the bottom left corner.
Oh, that's so cool! I guess I've never thought about that the characters actually move even when there's no visual representation of them move. Okay. Okay, that's neat. Okay. Like I said, I've never actually played the games much, so that wouldn't make sense to me. I guess I kind of just assumed that he teleported, or like if he moved, it was like there was no real indication. Like, why would the game not show you the movement? But yeah, if he's out of camera view, he's still like sneaking around the off. That's actually kind of a clever way of programming the game.
Corner, you can see that those are indeed his movement paths. On every movement except for his very first, you'll see that this alterable variable b of cam1 is set to a random number between 1 and 3. These values for alterable variable b correspond to the 3 respective sound cues that Balloon Boy can make when moving between any of these cameras.
Hi. Hello.
So we know that every time Balloon Boy isn't in camera 10, he has a 1 in 4 chance to stay silent on every 5-second interval. Mangle is similar. She starts in camera 12, then moves into 11, 10, and 7. From here, Mangle will move into the office hallway, then cam 2. She then has a 50-50 to either move into cam 1 or into the vent. If she moves into cam 1, she'll move back to cam 2 on her next successful movement. If she moves into the vent, she'll move into the vent blind spot after 5 seconds have passed and you pull up the cameras. As I stated before, along with Withered Freddy, this makes Mangle one of the only characters in FNAF 2 that can move somewhat randomly, albeit only between 2 cameras. What's important for us though is how Mangle's sound cues work. Once Mangle is in the main hall, the game uses a similar structure to Balloon Boy to play her sound cues for further movements. In fact, it's the exact same structure, with a random number being pulled from 1 to 3, and each of those numbers corresponding to a sound cue that can be heard throughout the building. The only difference is that Mangle's sound cues are produced by her being in a range of positions called hear footsteps then moving, or moving into that range from cam 7, whereas Balloon Boy's happen in his movement code itself, which results in the same outcome. In this case, it sounds like a metal clanging.
So he's not even going to go off of the fact that we didn't just see the animatronics. He's actually going to claim that since we didn't hear them move at all, that they couldn't even be present in the run. Okay, I like that.
The only difference between Balloon Boy and Mangle is the variable name, B for Balloon Boy and M for Mangle. So we know that Mangle's movements from the main hall into the office hallway into Cam 2, Cam 2 to Cam 1, and Cam 1 to Cam 2 will all play some sort of universal sound cue, basically anything in this area of the building. We also know that Mangle will return to the main hall upon being cleared, meaning that any movement that isn't her going into your vent will play one of these 3 sound cues. And we know that Balloon Boy will always play a sound cue if he's past his first movement. Now let's watch Mark's winning clip again. Remember to keep your ears peeled for any sound cues.
So you hear neither. So theoretically, Balloon Boy and Mangle would
that's
never
a bit
have ran.
strange. On top of not seeing any toy animatronics, we also don't hear any sound cues from Balloon Boy or Mangle. This is weird, but just how weird is it? Well, along with some theoretical math that we'll get into later, I also decided to do some field research by collecting some 1020 runs that I know are legitimate. First, I have Oh Look It's FNAF's completion of 1020 mode, the first recorded completion.
So, look at that. 1.4 million views. So completing the run first does get you views. Like, that's just facts. It happens. So, Markiplier lying about making runs do affect the YouTube algorithm. It affects the people who legitimately got the run. Someone who got the run after Markiplier could have had a video that maybe not 1.4 million, maybe 1,000, maybe 100,000 views. I mean, and that person didn't get it because Markiplier took that spot. That's fine, I guess, theoretically, but I don't know. It'd be like a game first coming out, and you're the first person to post the ending cutscene, like the final boss fight. It's like, yeah, I mean, all the way to the boss fight. I want to be the first one to show you guys this boss fight. But the guy legitimately just skipped the whole game. He just cut to the boss fight to show you guys the boss fight. But he acts like he won the whole game. Okay, well, someone doing an actual playthrough might be the first person to show the boss fight, but didn't get to do it because you skipped to the boss fight. Like, you're still making the content that people want to see. They just want to see the boss fight. But someone else who earned their way to show that doesn't get... It's weird. It's weird. I don't know how I feel about it from a moral standpoint.
Which was a raw recording in its entirety. For extra insurance, I also went ahead and downloaded the 1.031 patch of FNAF 2 that Markiplier was playing on, and beat 1020 mode with the same old strategy on that patch. If you'd like to see that full video uncut, it's up on my second channel. So let's look at the last 15 seconds of footage from those 2 other completions.
It's so obvious too when you're actually listening for it. It's so obvious. So right there, 8. So Markiplier would be at 0. Oh look, it's FNAF would be at 8. Statistically, Markiplier might be at maybe 2-1, and you would only hear 3. The odds of him being at 0-0 is... Ugh, okay. That's a pause to read, and I did not. The reason the Mango sound cue played here is that she's still having MOs, movement opportunities, while in the vent, but she's stalled and can't leave. So the sound cue still plays. You could try this for yourself in custom night and just put Mangle on and leave her in the vent blind spot. She'll keep playing the middle walk until she leaves. Okay. I don't... Okay. That's interesting, but I don't know if Markiplier would have done that, so that's kind of a weird thing to include. Also, fun fact, Mangle is referred to as both he and she in the game description, so canon-wise, they have no gender. But I think either gender like pronouns work with them. So I'm not criticizing it. I personally don't care. But fun fact.
Well, that's a bit strange. In the last 19 seconds of Oh Look It's FNAF's completion, the same length as Markiplier's ending clip, we heard 4 sound cues from Mangle and 4 sound cues from Balloon Boy. In my run, we heard 2 sound cues from Mangle and even see her physically, and 2 sound cues from Balloon Boy. I mean, that's a little odd. It seems like for both other clips, there was quite a few Mangle and Balloon Boy sounds. It's not just the last 15 seconds either. In fact, if you take any 15 seconds from either of these legitimate completions, that isn't at the start obviously, we hear Mangle or Balloon Boy at some point. And that's based only on sound, not even seeing other toy animatronic Balloon Boy at some point. And that's based...
Okay, so 15-second interval. So right here is a 20-second interval that one of them don't play once. So, theoretically, now the other one did get played once. At that point, theoretically, this here, these 4 happening between 5:40 and 6, it would be the best argument for Markiplier didn't cheat, because you could take this and go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You only need 2 more no's. Now, statistically, what are the odds of all 4 being no's? Not good. I mean, look at the rest of the chart. But it's impossible. It's the whole... Who's a Minecraft YouTuber that got caught cheat? Was it Dream? I think it was Dream. That Dream's whole thing was like, statistically what he did was possible. Just, it was a 1 in a couple trillion chance. Well, that does happen every once in a while. He would cheat. I'm not saying Dream didn't cheat. I'm saying though, well, at some point someone looks at the odds of something and go, well, statistically, the odds are so unlikely that there's no way that happened. But the odds being unlikely actually shows that there's a possibility of it actually happening. A 1 in trillion chance happening, if it happens your first time ever doing something, you never would think that the odds are that unlikely. So right here you have 20 seconds, not even 15. This is 20. So theoretically, say it was 15. You switch this yes to a no, he has the exact same encounter. That would be my argument. If I wanted to argue with someone and go, nah, I don't think he cheated, I would just go, well, no, you only have to change one of these technically to a no. If you change 2 to a no, then you get no, 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 yes, no, 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 yes, yes, no. What if you change all 3 of the yeses to a no? Like, statistically, you're getting less and less likely. But right now, on Oh Look It's FNAF's run, he was 3 yeses away from having a very unlikely no, 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 no. Like one even beyond Markiplier's chances. So, again, I think Markiplier personally cheated. That gap there, though, that's an easy gap to point to and go, is it possible? Only a couple variables have to change, and you have the situation occurring there.
Only on sound, not even seeing other toy animatronics or counting Balloon Boy's silent points when he's in the vent blind spot, even though he is physically visible. And yes, I not only beat 1020 True Old Strat for this video, but I also sifted through both of these recordings for 2 hours straight, marking out every single 5-second interval and seeing if Balloon Boy and Mangle made any noises. So if you'd like to make this very tired man really happy, if you learned something new, or you're just enjoying the video so far, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. It means the world to me. Now, back to
Subscribe
the game.
to him. He's
How
amazing.
weird was Markiplier's last 19 seconds, statistically speaking? This clip is approximately 19 seconds long, meaning 3 5-second intervals took place within the clip. We know that everyone moves on 5-second intervals, so if we hear a bang in the vents, we know that that happened on a 5-second interval, and we can use that to map out all the intervals within the clip. For this section, I'll be speaking in video timestamps when referencing intervals. We hear vent bangs at 9:13 and 9:19, but we don't hear any at 9:24, meaning an interval did pass, as it was 5 seconds away from the last vent bang. But no one was close enough to the office to enter the vents or leave them.
this is gonna be a dumb question that I really hope he explains. Who's in the vents? Because if he doesn't have any of the toys active, all of the other animatronics, don't they all attack from the hallway? Like, I don't think Withered, I don't think they're considered Withered yet. Yeah, I don't think any of the Freddy, because Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, and Chica, all the OGs, all attack from the hallway. None of them enter the vent. Only the toys enter the vent, and Mangle and BB. So who's even banging in the vents? Like, I hope he does do that. I hope he says, this is how I believe Markiplier's game is set up, because that'd be a really easy way, and then play that game, and he'd be like, oh, I had... this is what it sounded like, and it, like, matches up perfectly. That would be an awesome, like, piece of evidence.
We also know that the last interval to happen before this clip had to have been at 9:08, 5 seconds before 9:13. Keep this in mind, as this will be important for Mangle specifically later. This means that in the last 19 seconds of Mark's completion, he passes over 3 intervals where either Balloon Boy or Mangle could have made their sound cues. We also know that Balloon Boy couldn't possibly be in camera 10, where his next movement is silent, as right when the clip starts, Mark still has the mask on from a blackout, and we don't hear any immediate banging in the vents. When a vent animatronic that isn't Toy Bonnie leaves the vents, they'll always play this audio file. And since we don't hear it at the beginning of the clip, we know that Balloon Boy couldn't have possibly been cleared before this clip started. So he can't be in camera 10 at the point of the clip starting without failing any extra movements. Now we know that in order for this clip to be legitimate, Balloon Boy had to have failed his movement on all 3 intervals, totaling at 3 failed movements. Mangle is a bit more complicated. Unlike Balloon Boy, Mangle's sound cues last pretty long, ranging from 2.2 seconds to 4.7 seconds. Why is this important? Well, remember that this clip fades in at exactly 9:09, and we know the previous interval before this clip started would have been 9:08, meaning even if Mangle's random sound cue selection ended up on her shortest sound cue, Metal Walk 2, we'd still be able to hear it as the clip transitions in. If you think I'm just cherry picking here, we can look at earlier clips in the video that were played on actual 1020 and hear this exact thing happening. If we look at 322 to 329, a clip where Mark dies at 325, you can hear a Mangle sound cue from an interval that occurred before the clip started.
God damn it, damn you!
So let's try and pinpoint
I
the
barely
best
heard that
possible
one. I
position.
don't like that one. He's probably right, but that was such a quick audio cue there that I don't think the audience is gonna hear that and go, ah, okay, that's a good piece of evidence. That either needs to be replayed or shortened or something, yeah.
Could be in to favor Mark's odds here. For Mangle to not make any sound cues, we'd have to have her moving from cam 2 into cam 6, as she doesn't make a distinct sound cue on that movement, and we can reason that for the sake of Mark's defense, the banging in the vents is Mangle. We know that Mangle cannot have possibly moved into the vent on the 9:08 interval. Why? Using the same logic that Balloon Boy couldn't have been in cam 10. If Mangle were to move into cam 6 at 9:08, we'd be hearing the last 2 seconds of Vent Walk 1 as the clip starts. So even in the best case, Mangle is guaranteed to fail a movement at 9:08. From here, things are a little bit more open-ended, and we have to account for that. Mangle and Balloon Boy are special characters in not just how they make sounds when they move throughout the building, but also how they enter your office, as they are the only 2 characters that can sit in your office without jump scaring you. For this reason, Scott coded the game such that Mangle and Balloon Boy aren't able to move into your vent blind spot unless the cameras are pulled up. This doesn't apply to other vent characters like Toy Bonnie or Toy Chica, with Toy Bonnie just needing the light to be off to move in and Toy Chica just moving in regardless. This is important.
I've never realized that. Like, they just pop into place. Like, that's weird. That's weird. I never knew that was an aspect of the game.
Important to us because the last interval in this clip happens when Mark is just sitting in the office. So if Mangle is in camera 6 during this interval, it works in Mark's favor when calculating the odds, as she doesn't need to fail a movement here to stay in camera 6. This leaves 3 possible paths in which Mangle can move after she fails the first movement opportunity. She could not move on both intervals, she could not move then move into the vent, and she could move into the vent and then not move. Since all three of these events can satisfy this condition, we compute the probabilities of each one, then add them together. Now, we multiply that with the odds of Balloon Boy failing all three of his movements, which comes out in total to 13 over 4,096. This is a low chance, but it's still possible to happen.
Let's do a little research first. Now, he has more, but let's just do research first. Hey Google, what are the odds of finding a full odd shiny in Pokemon Emerald? So a full odd shiny in Pokemon Emerald is 1 in 8,192. So about twice. I'm trying to make sure it's not exactly twice. No, because that's 13. That's not even 1, so don't even worry about that. So a 1 in 8,192 chance. So if you've ever caught in shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Emerald, it was actually statistically more likely for that to happen, for you to see one, or for it to even come up as like the first Pokemon in the game, than it is. Like Markiplier's run was less statistically unlikely than that. So that's just a reference point. If you've ever seen a shiny Pokemon, in your mind you have to think to yourself, that is so unlikely. It's like Markiplier's FNAF 2 run. So right now, he's going to add more to it, so I bet this number gets really absurd eventually. But
Though, if we consider any case where Mangle isn't starting in camera 2, the odds get dramatically worse, instead resulting in 1 in 16,384. But remember, this is only factoring in 2 animatronics.
Okay,
There were no sightings of any toy animatronics across this entire clip. We only saw the original 4. That's right, we only saw the original 4 animatronics. Come to think of it, why did Markiplier react so hard when he saw the 3rd star in the menu? You get that from 420 mode, not 1020 mode. Ooh, shit.
did people know that at the time? Is going to be a question I ask. I will then ask, who's banging around in events? Like, does that happen even when you don't have an event killing character in there? Like, these are 2 things that I want answered right now. Like, because if people didn't know that the 420 mode was what it took to get the star, and Markiplier was the first one to find that out, that would be weird. But that's probably was well known at the time. So I hope again, I'm looking at this from an outsider perspective. I hope TheBones5's provides those 2 information right now. This was already known. Markiplier should have known this already. And something was banging around in the vents. That's normal. We get random vent sounds in an average game of Five Nights at Freddy's anyways. Which they probably do. That might be a basic game mechanic that I just don't know about. But I want him to explain both. What are we hearing in his game and event if he's not running any event characters? And he knew, like, we as a community already knew that you didn't need the 420, or I'm going to keep messing up, the 1020 mode.
If we circle all the way back to when we were first talking about why this...
Because even if Markiplier was going to cheat it, why would he not keep, like, a Balloon Boy? Or, like, why wouldn't you start, like... You know the core 4 is all you need. Why wouldn't you add Golden Freddy? Someone that you can easily counter with a camera flip. Or one of the toy animatronic. Like, it seems weird to cheat it that badly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could at least have those characters on, but have them on such a low interval that you would hear them in the background. Like, you would hear BB laugh at one point of the video, even if you had him just on 5, I think. Like, that would make sense. To cheat that poorly, again, I hope by the end of this video, TheBones5 goes, this is the game I think he played. And, like, show what he thinks every animatronic was on. Because he really thinks it was only the core 5, or the core 4. That's weird. That's a really weird way to cheat.
From was suspicious, it was because of the cut after Markiplier beat it, cutting from the menu to the Golden Freddy custom night screen. Why didn't he just go straight to the custom night menu all in one clip? Because his winning run wasn't performed on 1020 mode, it was performed on 420 mode. Doesn't it make a lot of sense? We don't see any toy animatronics in the entire clip, and the odds of Mangle and Balloon Boy being in positions where they can't be heard or seen are very, very low. But to me, what's so weird is how Mark reacts when he sees the 3rd star. You see that he pauses for a moment, sees the star, then pops off even more than he already was.
Yes!
However, you don't get this star from 1020, you get it from 420 and only 420. If we go into the save file for the game, you'll see these variables, C1 through 10. All of these variables correspond to a custom night preset within the custom night menu. If one of them is set to 1, then you obtain a specific reward for that preset. For 420 mode or C1, you unlock the gold star. For new and shiny, you unlock the Toy Bonnie action figure. For double trouble, you unlock the Bonnie plush.
I never knew any of this, by the way. Like, I watched so much FNAF content, I did not know these were the rewards for each of these modes.
Night of Misfits, you unlock the BB plush. For Foxy, you unlock the Foxy plush. For Ladies Night, you unlock the Chica plush. For Freddy's Circus, you unlock the Freddy plush. For the Cupcake Challenge, you unlock the Cupcake. For Fazbear Fever, you unlock Withered Freddy's microphone. And for 1020, you unlock the Golden Freddy plush. All of these events are completely exclusive to their own presets, meaning if you beat 1020 and only 1020, you would still have 2 stars. Why does this matter? Well, Markiplier didn't have any of the rewards on his desk for any of the other presets. He just went straight into 1020 mode. You can even see in the clip from 525 to 540 that when Markiplier dies and the game goes back to the main menu, he only has 2 stars. He had never played any of the presets before 1020. So if he went back into the menu after beating...
I also don't understand that. Like, Markiplier could have fished so much more content out of this game by just having, like, basically doing what I think he did with Ultimate Custom Night, where it's like, okay, we'll do this challenge, then this challenge, then this challenge, then this challenge. Like, make each of those do a video. Like, the game was popping off so well, then he would have had multi-million view videos for, like, 2 weeks straight. Like, that's what comes across as weird to me. Like, he could have not cheated this, or cheated it in a better way. Like, it's, if he did cheat it, he cheated it very sloppily. Very sloppily.
In Golden Freddy mode and only Golden Freddy mode, he should have seen this. This is a file that I had beat 1020 and no other presets on. And as you can see, I have the star in the custom night menu, Golden Freddy is on my desk, but I don't have the 3rd star in the main menu. So we've determined that Markiplier played 420, acted like it was 1020, then cut the footage to the custom night menu to show the supposed proof that he had beaten 1020 mode. But if he didn't beat 1020 mode, how did he get these stars in the custom night menu? Believe it or not, FNAF games are insanely easy to cheat, especially the first and second game. The most well-known...
He's gonna talk about the skipping, the CD skip. Again, was this well known that soon into FNAF 2 though? Like, I guess probably because people knew the source code already from FNAF 1. But still, that seems crazy to me.
Method is a simple cheat code. In the first FNAF game, by pressing C, D, then the plus key on the number pad of the keyboard, you could instantly jump to the winning night frame and skip the night. This also worked in FNAF 2.
I got pee. I'm back. Alright. Cut back in. I just had to use the restroom, so my bad. We're 25 minutes into this reaction, 26 minutes in. I probably already have an hour worth of content, so good luck, guys. Those of you still watching, you the real MVPs.
The added condition that you're...
Let's go about 5 seconds back so that it's... We'll go 10 seconds back so we don't miss anything.
D, then the plus key on the number pad of the keyboard, you could instantly jump to the winning night frame and skip the night. This also worked in FNAF 2, with the added condition that your cursor had to be over Toy Freddy's nose on this poster in the office. However, this method wasn't discovered until the code of both FNAF 1 and 2 was decompiled, which happened after Markiplier's video. But the other well-known method was known way before his video, and that method is file editing. When I previously covered this topic in the technical FNAF Iceberg video, a lot of people were defending Markiplier by saying that he wouldn't be able to figure out how to file edit. And if anything, that just kind of seems like an insult to the guy's intelligence. If anyone here has ever played modded Minecraft, it's essentially just that, but even easier. If you're on a Windows computer...
But remember, also gotta remember, I agree with him on this, but you have to assume that Markiplier is dumb enough to not know how the star came up. Like, Markiplier doesn't know what activates that star, so he doesn't know to not have the star come up. Like, the star comes up when he wins the 420 run, so he needs to know all this information and not know that he needs to switch that. Like, you know what I mean? It would be like me going, what would be a good example of this? It would be like me editing a Pokemon to a shiny and then not being aware that it was shiny lock. Like, someone could come up to me and go, well, obviously he knows how to make a Pokemon shiny that isn't shiny. Yeah, but I would have to be smart enough to do that, but dumb enough to not know the Pokemon was shiny locked in the first place. Like you're asking the amount of knowledge to do one, but forget the other is kind of, you have to take those both into consideration. So Markiplier has to both be smart enough to, at this time, edit the game state in the code so that he wins, but dumb enough to not know what that win actually gives him as a reward. Like, oh, you get the stars on the 2020 mode, but you get that third star by completing the other thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's something there has to be, I don't know. I don't know exactly how it works. I think people know what I mean, though. It's a concept of you're smart enough to do this, but you're not smart enough to realize why doing that is wrong.
Just press the Windows key and R at the same time to pull up the run window. Then type in %appdata% and go into the MMF applications folder. Open Freddy 2 in any kind of text editor and boom, you can now change your save file. By just setting C10 to 1, you've now beaten Golden Freddy mode. Plenty of tutorials on how to do this existed before Mark's video, and if you still think Mark wouldn't be able to figure this out, here's a Steam post from my profile in 2015 that I made at 9 years old. I finally beat 1020 mode. Yeah, I am sure you did, buddy. If 9-year-old me can figure it out, I'm sure Mark can too. And that was about where I was ready to wrap up this video. The extremely low odds when only factoring in 2 animatronics, the fact that 0 toy animatronics were seen anywhere in the last clip, combined with the suspicious cuts that weren't present in his sister location and FNAF 1 videos, and the third star, all point to the theory that Mark pretended like he was playing 1020 mode while actually playing on 420 mode, then cut the footage, edited his file for the supposed proof that he had beaten 10.
Like, the issue is, though, like I said, when you play the 420 mode, you're legit taking 6 characters out of the game. Markiplier wouldn't think to himself that in 15 seconds, 6 of the 10 characters would not show up in those, like, that's where it seems weird to me. If he cheated, he's one of the worst cheaters of, like not worse, like, oh my god, you're evil. Worse as in, like, you're an idiot. It doesn't make sense. It would be... So it would be like me showing a speedrun of Pokemon Platinum, and I get to a Cynthia fight, and you only see Spiritomb and Garchomp. In reality, I took away all her other Pokemon. Like, okay, everyone knows that there's more Pokemon there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, but maybe you can cut around it, and oh, I'm gonna show you the beginning of the fight and the end of the fight, and you just know. But that just seems so obvious. Like, why would you not play with at least the other characters on 1 or 2 or 3 so that you still hear sound cues or you see them at some point in the gameplay?
I decided to take one last look at the rest of this video, and that's when I found something that makes this a whole lot crazier. Bring out the detective thread board because things are about to get even more interesting.
Okay.
I think even without this next part of the video, it's pretty clear what happened. But this was just a lot of other weird stuff that I found in every part of the video that isn't the last 19 seconds. YouTube videos back in this time period didn't have much editing involved. They were more carried by the personality of the content creator. So I was able to map out every single cut in this video and analyze and compare every single clip throughout it. The first thing that I noticed was that there were some stark...
Just so, by the way, I feel like I clip way too much. He has some in here that are like 6 seconds long. 6 second long, 9 seconds long. Like, this is my editing style. It's just cut. Like, re-enter, like, this isn't gonna be. This is probably gonna be the most long form content I make in a long time. I don't care. There's not much of it I want to cut. So, but I used to do this, like, even like pauses between conversations, like talking. I didn't let the room breathe because to me, I grew up on the Rooster Teeth, the Markipliers, you need full audience attention, yell, like you gotta be yelling, you gotta be talking. If you ever see on your audio clip a flat line, that's dead air. You don't want that, so you would cut it down. This is a lot of freaking cuts, though. Like, I don't know if a single one of these is over half a minute. Not a single one, I don't think. Like, that's crazy.
Analyze and compare every single clip throughout it. The first thing that I noticed was that there were some stark contrasts between some of the clips at the beginning of the video and some of the clips near the end of the video. I first went through every clip and applied the same tests that I did on the ending clip, listening for Balloon Boy and Mangle's universal sound cues. Out of the 37 total clips, in 5 of them, Mark was at the very start of the night explaining something to the audience, so we'll disregard those. In 2 of the clips, he dies too early into them to make anything out. Then in 27 clips, with 15 of them being deaths, we either see or hear Mangle or Balloon Boy in some way. And with how much more active everyone generally seems to be, we can safely say that these clips are likely to be on 1020 mode. That leaves clip 18, 20, 35, and as we already discussed, the 37th clip in which Mark completes the night. When I was first piecing together the rest of this video after initially studying the last clip, I was looking for something, anything that was changing between clips so that I could possibly link them together. Obviously, nothing in the game would work, but maybe something in the face cam will. So I began to study the face cam in between clips.
What if he was wearing like a completely different shirt? Wouldn't that be funny? And everyone just ignored it, and it just cuts him. He's wearing like a bright red shirt.
And see if anything at all changed between them. Well, I noticed that sometimes when Mark dies, he tends to touch his hair in some way, meaning that if his hair was in the exact same position throughout multiple different clips, then those clips are likely to be from the same run. This isn't exactly concrete, but it was what led me to consider that maybe other parts of the video aside from the last 19 seconds should also be looked at and taken into consideration. And if you look really closely at the top left corner of Mark's hair, you can see this tiny strand that pokes out and casts a pretty noticeable shadow on his forehead. And
I shit you not. I have made videos before that bothered me how much I touch my face, namely my beard and my hair. It's one reason I wear a hat so often in videos. Is I'll sit here, I got longer hair, and I'll sit here and play with my hair throughout or like rearrange it and that. And I've had this situation before where I've purposely tried to cut from like one situation to another, and I've noticed like my hair's changed in a certain way, or like if I start doing like this with my beard hair when I'm stressed or anxious, you'll see it in different clips where it's a little bit more matted on the side that I played with. So this is one of those things as a content creator, and I'm a low level content creator, but once you start doing it, even bare minimum, you see it so much in people's editing and whatnot, where it's like, oh, you just cut like away from this, like, or the people who don't even try to show a cut. Like we my fiance and I, we watch Caleb Hammer, and there's a lot of times that he'll have a cut, and it's like you have 2 people talking back and forth, so it's easier to kind of cut around topics you don't want to talk about because you just cut to the other person talking. Like say the guest says something that you don't want to talk about or you don't want to have on, you just cut back to Caleb saying something else. Like it's easier when you bounce between 2 different people. It's one reason I really like the Rooster Teeth style gameplay is if all my friends recorded their gameplay, what you can do is if there's a 10 seconds of nothing happening, instead of deleting the 10 seconds and having it cut, instead you just cut to my friend's cam screen. You don't have to explain anything. You just cut to his screen and it's like, yeah, those 10 seconds are gone. He says something and it's okay, we're back on track. Like, so yeah, this is one of those, it comes back to just editing and whatnot. Once you notice it, you never unsee it. It's like background noise. If you ever start editing, you start understanding background sounds so much. Or, what's the other big one? The other big one for me is like transitions. I hate how I do transitions, but now when I watch videos, I always watch how they transition between scenes. Always.
And we see this across all of these suspicious clips. 18, 20, 35, and 37. You can even see in transitions, like clip 35 to 36, how it disappears then reappears on the transition to clip 37. Applying the BB and Mangle tests from the ending clip to all of these clips with the hair strand, we have these results. Some parts of these clips are just absolutely insane, like in clip 35 where we don't hear a single vent noise.
And that makes more sense. If there's no vent animatronics, I believe that there wouldn't be any vent noise. I wish he explained that, because that's something I'm sure I'm wrong about. But would they make any vent noise if he was playing with just the OG4? If so, what explains any of the vent noise you hear in the last clip?
Hello.
Or maybe we don't hear any in the last clip. But I feel like that would have been an easy thing to state, is like, oh, we hear none.
Some others also just kind of come off as like bad acting. Like in clip 18, what is bro stressing about? No one is here and he has like a full box. If we take all of this into consideration, it's very likely that these 4 clips were all part of the same winning run, and were stitched in with 10-20 fails to give the illusion that the run was legitimate. I also decided to keep track of the nighttime during each clip, which led to some
Again, though, we also have to then assume that he only spliced together like one winning run with a bunch of losing runs. Why would you not do 420 multiple times and edit them all in, like, or purposely fail at 420 a few times? I don't know. It seems, again, it just seems, if he did cheat it, he cheated it in the worst way possible. Like, I don't understand the people who, I always say this about liars. If someone will lie about something, it makes no freaking sense to the rest of their life. So the lie doesn't even apply to anything else. If my fiance comes home and I lie to her, then I go, oh yeah, I was at Meijer, but really I was at my friend's Rebecca's house. It's like, okay. She could easily go, well, what did you buy at Meijer? Oh, I didn't buy anything. Okay, so now I went to Meijer and I didn't buy anything. All right, well, did you see anyone at Meijer? What time do you get to Meijer? Oh, I don't know the time. Or I don't, like, the lie just doesn't even make sense. It's easier to lie, no, I've been home the whole time. Why? Because we don't have cameras in the house. There's no way of proving that. Why would I lie that I left somewhere and then have to make up all these details that then you have to keep track of in your life? It doesn't make sense. But people, if you've ever been around someone who actually lies, and I mean like actually lies, you see this all the time, where they'll say something, it's like I've hung out with friends who've done it where it's like, I was pro in this video game. It's like, you can't even shoot in another video game that has the same FPS like shooting mechanic. Like, you can't be that good at one and then not worth a shit in others. It just doesn't make sense. Like, there's something fundamental there. Or I used to be really good at Pokemon, and now they can't even like beat like NPCs in the game. It's like, I know you've never played competitive Pokemon because I know what competitive Pokemon is. Like, when you try to lie, you have to lie within reality. Like, it's just, if you ever play beer pong with someone and they're like, I made every cup one game back to back to back, I never missed a cup, and you watch them and they barely know how to throw a ball, you already know that they're lying. It's like, what? But if they lie and say, like, they could say like, oh, I had the best trick shot of all time, you have no way to disprove that. I don't get why people lie and then they don't lie correctly. It makes no sense to me. I don't get these type of people.
Even weirder findings. Of all of the clips in the video, Mark is only shown to make it past 2 AM in 6 clips. The 4 clips with the hair strand that we talked about being part of the quote-unquote winning run played on 420 mode, but also 2 additional clips. In clips 25 and 36, we do see toy animatronics, and we don't see the hair strand, so we know it's not part of the clips that could make up the 420 run. But everyone just seems super slow, or just not as active as they normally would be in 1020 mode. This is especially evident in clip 25.
So now he's going to what I was saying. Perfect. I think he's going to say that there was the 4 OGs and the other ones were just put to a lesser standard. That makes more sense to me.
The danger ambience, that FNAF 2 meme noise that everyone knows and loves, completely stops.
Ah! Ah! Oh, fucking fuck. So lucky.
If you don't know how insane that is, this danger audio plays not just when someone is in the hallway, or in the vents, but if anyone is in cam 5, 6, 1, or 2, do you realize how insane that is? At 4 AM and 10:20, no one was even remotely close to Mark. The intervals for this clip are as follows, so we have 3 movement opportunities total within the clip. In order for the danger sound cue to completely stop, assuming best case odds that everyone was just magically cleared from the office the frame this clip started, 4 animatronics would have to fail 3 movements in a row, as their return points are only 1 camera outside this range. Freddy would have to either fail one of his 3 movements, or succeed all 3 movements and hit a 50-50 to move back into cam 7. Balloon Boy would have to fail at least 1 movement, so accounting for the fact that his movement could be any of his 3 intervals, we use this formula. And Toy Freddy would have to fail 2 movements, but we account for the fact that it can be any 2 movements, and that comes out to, in the absolute best case, 1 in 240,136,397. Best case. I also want to make it clear here that the situation in which everyone is at their starting positions the moment the clip starts literally cannot happen in normal gameplay. If we were to somehow simulate something like this happening, at the very minimum, we need 2 extra failed movements from Withered Bonnie or Withered Chica in order to keep them in their starting camera as everyone is being cleared, which bumps the odds up to a cool 1 in roughly 4 billion. Now, I've played a lot of FNAF 2 in my time, and I will tell you firsthand, I have never, ever seen a clip of legitimate 1020 where the danger ambience completely stops, making it highly unlikely that this clip was played on 1020 either. If you're curious about the other oddball clip, while not as impressive as the 1 in 4 billion, is still decently rare. I'll throw up the math on screen for this one, but it all boils down to there only being 1 sound cue in this clip from BB and Mangle, when you're expected to hear around 6 on average, which comes out to a 1 in 782. Magnitudes below clip 25, but still pretty rare nonetheless. All of this leads to the fact that Mark, at least on legitimate 1020, might have not even gotten past 2 AM. Since every clip...
That's actually crazy. That's crazy, because yeah, that would make more sense of why Mark felt the need to say he cheated if he wasn't even close, and he wanted to get like a video out like the next day of it. Because I think he's told a story before of like having a friend wait on him while he was trying to complete it or something. I think that was FNAF 2. Again, though, why would you even say that you cheat? Like, again, you are so far off of the skill set needed. It would legitimately be like me tomorrow saying, I just set the world record on Black Ops 1 Moon. I hit the 255 cap. Like, I've never set a record. I've barely ever set records in zombies. I am not known in the community. It takes like 70 hours of perfect gameplay to get there, and I just come out of nowhere. I'm like, yep, I did it. And it's like, well, and then like all my friends would not go, well, he does like zombies. It's like, yeah, but that's a skill level that you don't reach naturally. Like it just doesn't happen overnight. Now, if this was modern day where Markiplier could stream it, play it a few times, whatnot, and then he just gives up on it and goes, yeah, I can't do it, someone else can. Again, those views go to someone else. I still think he gets a lot of views for the video going, this is too hard for me. If he legitimately posts FNAF 2, too hard for me, at this time it would have been a 15 million view video still. So...
Past 2 AM either has the hair strand with no toys and no BB or Mangle sounds, we know it was part of the quote-unquote winning run played on 420 mode. If there's no hair strand, the clips just have insane odds that make it seem very unlikely to have been played on 1020 mode. And honestly, this does kind of make sense. The way that Mark was playing in a lot of these clips just isn't really the correct way to play the old strat. He's winding for 4 ticks then pulling down the cams in some of these clips, when you normally wind for 6 at the absolute minimum. And as someone who beat 1020 with the true old strat, you need every tick you can get. The left vent characters in Toy Bonnie are extremely punishing to your music box. Now, if we look back at everything from the perspective that Mark was playing legitimately, he would have to cut the winning night footage such that only the last 20 seconds were shown on camera, react to the star that is obtained from 420 mode despite never being seen with it before his win, react so hard and be so mentally overwhelmed that he's forced to cut to the Golden Freddy custom night screen. Gameplay that doesn't really match up with how you're...
I wish... this is one issue I do have, There's an in-between between TheBones5 and Felicify here. Felicify calls out Wolfie for cheating, and it's an obsession for like 10 years. Bones5 is calling out Markiplier for cheating, but it's more of a, yeah, don't be mad. I'm looking at it from the technical side, whatnot. But what you're claiming is a malicious intent. You are saying that Markiplier did not just lie, did not just cheat, but attempt to fool everyone with a fake reaction, with maliciousness when it comes to like the, oh, I'm so tired, I need to take a break, whatnot. That cutaway can only be done when he knows already, oh, I'm cheating here, like I'm lying the whole time. It's not like a split decision, oh, I just have to make a fake run, but he had to do real runs to splice into the fake run. Like, this is like a speedrunner faking attempts. Like, that doesn't happen on accident. This is a malicious choice of Markiplier's. Now, you can say that you don't care whatnot, and you can still say, like, I like his content, so it don't matter. There's an in-between here, though, of Markiplier maliciously did this. He knew he did not have the skill to accomplish what he was trying to accomplish, so instead, he lied. He cheated. He stole. Knock on wood. When I say stole, I'm going to say steal. He stole views away. This is something that if other people did, they got big credit for, but Markiplier did it first. Like, not first, obviously, but you know what I mean. Like, there's something there of, you have to be able to call it out and go, this was a really scummy thing that he did. And again, he's only doing FNAF 2. According to the way he cuts videos and whatnot, it's very likely that 3 and 4 were also cheated. At least 3. I do think 3 was cheated. So what do you do there? Like, it doesn't matter, but this should be something well known. Like, oh yeah, Markiplier, he's the guy who cheats at Five Nights at Freddy's. He's the big Five Nights at Freddy creator. He's the best Five Nights at Freddy content maker, but he cheats in the game. He's not good enough to beat it. Like, that's fine. I don't know where the in-between there is, though. Do you need someone like Felicify to sit there and go, he cheated? No. But I don't also like the idea of, well, he cheated, but we don't really care. Like, completely don't care. It's scummy what he did. It really is. Like, he maliciously faked a reaction. He maliciously cut together videos in a way to make it look like it was real. Like, and then again, then someone will post down like a Reddit or something and get massacred with downvotes. Markiplier could come out and go, yeah, no, I faked it. I faked it for the views, whatnot, but he won't do that. So these people getting downvoted for calling him out on it, like, is that fair to those people? The people who are actually correct? Like, it's weird. It's a weird mental thing. And I always, going back to the Felicify and Wolfie when it comes to Pokemon thing, I will always say in that situation, say you're going to the Super Bowl. Your team is in the Super Bowl, but there's a rule. Before the Super Bowl match, you are required to eat a lollipop. No reason why, you are required to do it. It's a dumb rule, it makes no sense. Someone on your opponent's team did not eat their lollipop. Would you consider that cheating? People like Felicify would go, yes, it's in the rules, you're supposed to eat your freaking lollipop. Why did you not eat the lollipop? And then other people, like the Pokemon community, goes, yeah, it's cheating, but we don't really care. It doesn't affect the gameplay. I mean, would we have won if he ate the lollipop? I don't think we would have won if we ate, like... So this is a mentality that I honestly believe it's like a 40-60 split in the population of certain genres of games. And I feel like people are hypocrites too. They'll jump positions depending on if they like the content creator or not. Like, I do believe that that's also in the concept, like in the conversation. But right now, if I gave you that hypothetical, you must eat a lollipop before it. And I said, is that cheating or is it not? I think you will have a divide when it comes to answers. In fact, I might actually make a short. I might make a YouTube short and say, like, with that exact scenario, is it cheating? Is it not? And then if you answer, depending on how you answer, I go, okay, you're just like Felicify when it comes to the Pokemon community. Or, okay, you agree with that. Like, I'm curious what the actual verdict in that conversation would be.
Supposed to play the true old strategy, and never seeing a toy animatronic past 2 AM, or just having odds that make it extremely unlikely to be on a 1020 setup. I guess there is no definitive 100% proof on the matter, but if I were to judge the legitimacy of the run, I think that it's pretty clear that Mark just beat 420 mode and inserted fails of 1020 mode throughout the video in order to make it look like he was playing on true 1020. So
If I really want to milk this content, you know how cool it'd be? Cool, I shouldn't say cool. How many views I could probably get if I just made a bunch of sappy posts about me when I found out my favorite content creator cheated in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Like, I might make a few of those as like a meme. You know what I mean? Like, ironically. But I don't know how deep into that I want to go. You know, I could make like 6 or 7 videos off of this. I bet they'll do decently. I mean, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. It's that content. Do I want to be that guy? Do I want to be that guy who milks, like, pretend to be upset? Markiplier lied. He lied about his Orion. I could probably even do that as like a shot at Felicify too. Guy, but then the Five Nights at Freddy community would hate me, and do I need more people on the internet to hate me? I mean, I have quite a few of those already. It'd be kind of fun though. Maybe. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
So this begs the question, why did Mark do this? Well, Markiplier isn't known on YouTube for his insane gaming skill or anything. He's just known for being a funny and entertaining guy. And he didn't mean anything bad by faking his run. It's not like the video was any less entertaining. But it's also important to consider that the style of content people would upload back then was so much different than how it is today. These days, we see YouTubers uploading maybe once a month, with high quality, movie-like edited videos. But back in those days, you'd see big name Let's Players dropping on the daily. Mark even says in his video that FNAF 3 is on the horizon, and he likely felt pressure to get this video out before FNAF 3 would release. He tried 1020 at first, and realized that the luck, skill, and most importantly time required for it just would not work with his schedule and upload frequency. And in all honesty, I get it. The pressure to get videos out at a reasonable frequency is insanely taxing. Trust me, I have been there plenty of times. Why do you think I used to like mentally break down in almost every video when I was on my come up back in the summer of 2024? Not because of the challenges themselves, but the pressure to get them out and satisfy the audience. It's a very real thing. And
it's a big struggle, so TheBones5 is probably the biggest, like, Chicken Ninja too. These are the content creators I would consider to have the hardest genre in the gaming community. The high skill level challenge runs in games. Let's say Pokemon, for example. If I want to do a Pokemon video, this is what I want to do. I want to play Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow all at the same time using the same inputs. And I want to just play through the games, make full teams. They all have to be different teams. I want to do that as a video. The issue is the amount of time it would take to play through the games, edit the video, make sure it looks good, provide what I want to provide, hope there's enough content in there that the challenge even works as a video. All of this has to happen. And then you're hoping, you're posting, you're going, God, I hope this gets 10,000 views. Like, oh, if that hit 20,000 views, that'd be great. Like, it's so scary to put in hours upon hours upon hours of work for a video that might not pop off. It might just never hit the algorithm. It might even be a decent video. I still think my favorite video that I have on my channel right now is from RV Area. I think if you watch that video, that's the funniest video I have produced. And then I would argue my 3 best videos, out of those 3, 1 I would say is high quality, like higher quality. Like I had a story going into it. It was good coming out. Like, of my 3 best content as of now, 1 would be in like my top 3 most proud videos. So now what does that encourage? It encourages me to come up here and do reaction content because it's easier to do and has better payoff. I feel bad for someone like TheBones5 where it's like, he might spend a month trying to do a challenge, either never complete it, but then maybe a different game is popping off in the algorithm, so now when he posts it might not do all that well. He might complete it, post it, and no one really cares because they don't know what the game is. Like, it's so scary to be the challenge YouTuber where it's like, your skills are what people are there for. I kind of feel that way about, like, pros level 2, where it's like, oh, I'm super good at Val, so when you start losing at Val, you start losing audience. Like, I think those people I also feel bad for. But the challenge run people, it's literally like, I'm going to spend a month doing a challenge run, and if anything goes wrong, I just don't make content for like 2 months. That's scary. That's really scary. Like he said, nowadays you got more people who are willing to do like the 1 month million view video, because once your channel pops off, it's kind of I'm not gonna say easy. It's easier to keep the people there. Whereas when you're getting started, they tell you just throw content out there, just throw content out there, just throw content out there. But then you look back at your channel and you see a lot of videos you're not proud of, or ones that you are proud of, but they're not the ones popping off. And it's a weird emotional state to be in at that point. Like, so I don't know. I feel for him here. I don't feel as bad for Markiplier though. I'm sorry, when you're making like 7 videos a week and each one's over a couple million views, I don't like he had to cheat it. He felt the pressure. It's also the second game. It's not like he was like, he set the standard for himself that he'll 100% every game. That's on him. This is the second game of the series. If he legit went, oh man, I was good enough for the first one, but man, FNAF 2, that kicked my ass. I can't do it. I don't think he loses any audience member. No one's there and going, I am watching Markiplier because he's the only one who could beat Five Nights at Freddy's 2. No, that person doesn't exist. So, yeah, I don't know. Content creation is more of a mental game than I think even like skill or mobility. Like it's very much, can you follow the numbers? Are you willing to follow the trends? Like, I also have the issue of, I don't want to be a one-trick pony. I don't want to only talk about Pokemon, even though it's the only thing pops off on my channel right now. I know what it's like to get dug into, I'm only a Pokemon YouTuber and I can't venture out. I wanted my audience to know I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, and I want people to stay here for me. I'd rather have 100,000 people watching me than 1 million people watching me do something I don't want to do. If I have 100,000 people who watch me and their main thing is like, yeah, you know, he talks about Pokemon, but I just like watching him. Or he talks sometimes about Five Nights at Freddy's, but I just like watching him. I'd rather those people than the people, oh, you should watch the biggest Pokemon content creator, and it's me. Like, I don't like that idea. I've always said, like, you got the people like the Asmongolds, the XQC, the Moist Critical. These people have, like, a base audience that will be there for whatever they post. No matter what they post, they can post a video saying, I'm picking my nose. And it will get this many people. And then the people on top of that are the people who come in for the content itself. Maybe I'm really into people who pick their nose. Those people come into that video to watch. I think those are the best content creators, where it's like AstroSmith, I would put it up there. AstroSmith now has such a good audience where it's like, he will play a game that is not even in the genre of games he plays, and he knows he has a good, probably about 500,000 views, guaranteed. And it's like, if he can get 1 million more people in because it's a FNAF video, cool. But he has that guaranteed. He knows he can do Dead by Daylight tournament. He can do Lethal Company. He can do Repo. Like, some of these games don't perform that well, but his base audience will always be there. So it doesn't matter if the audience on top of the base is a little lesser, because he's got the guarantee. That's where I think the dream scenario is. Like and TheBones5 is going to run into an issue here. He does AI videos, which is not AI, sorry. He does a lot of the checking the game files and all that type of stuff. But when you can only do that until you know everything about a game. At that point, you can't go back and go, well, let's talk about the characters in Ultimate Custom Night again. He's already done that. That video has already been created, and he can't ever do that again. Challenge runs, he will hit a point where he needs a game to actually come out that's harder so that he can do a harder run. It's, anyone watch Brave Wilderness for a while? Like, he was doing Coyote Pearson was doing the sting index. Well, at some point, you get stung by the hardest stinging insect. Well, any video after that is going to just be, well, okay, well, this thing isn't as bad as the bullet ant, or this thing isn't as bad as the cow killer wasp, or whatever. Like you always have to up the ante, but when you hit the ceiling, sadly, at that point, it's nothing but downhill at that point. You have to find your niche at that point. I do think TheBones5 will do a good job, because he plays a lot of off-brand Five Nights at Freddy's games, and they are still doing well. So he can always just move on to another game, or do another challenge, or go back to Cuphead. I think he'll do fine. He has that base audience now. I don't know how big it is, but he does absolutely have a base audience. I would be a member of that. I don't care about Dark Souls in any way. I watch a Dark Souls video because I like his content. So I would consider myself part of his base. Same with AstroSmith. I don't care about Death by Daylight at all. But I watched his tournament video because it's Astrosmith, and I like his videos. And it's one of my favorite videos I've ever seen, honestly. Go watch that. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just part of content creation that is just a little wild to me.
As someone who dedicates their life to these FNAF challenges, it has taken me months at a time to complete some of the hardest ones. Granted, those are more so from building up skill over a long period of time instead of just getting lucky like in 1020 mode, but even as a victor of 1020 mode with the true old strategy, you still need an insane amount of luck to complete it. And it definitely took me longer than the one recording session that Mark was willing to give it. And that's coming from someone who sweats day in and day out at these games. As a casual gamer who's just trying to have a good time and make an entertaining video, I don't think anyone should be super surprised that Mark did this. Ultimately, Markiplier is an entertainer first and foremost, and in order to satisfy the quota for upload frequency back then, he really didn't have a choice. As speedrunner Carl Jobst once said, people don't cheat for faster times, they cheat to get those times faster. Now, I'd like to dedicate the last portion of
That's actually a really good quote. Hold on.
cheat to get those times faster.
I really like that quote. I don't know why. I've never heard that before. That is a insanely good quote when it comes to like speedrunning and whatnot. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean that is true. Like I said, it's just a matter of what community you're in. Like I've been in a ton of communities where every community has a cheater. I mean, COD Zombies has cheaters, Pokemon has cheaters. It's just a matter of calling them out and then discussing if we actually care or not. If the content is worth the cheating.
Now, I'd like to dedicate the last portion of this video to addressing some common counterarguments that I often see regarding Mark's 1020 completion. The first and most common counterargument that I've seen has to do with how Mark edits the footage, with something along the lines of, well duh, Mark cut his footage, he wouldn't want people to sit through a ton of footage. And that would be fine, except for the fact that he cut the footage at the single most important point where you shouldn't cut it to prove that it was legitimate. And remember from earlier in the video, Mark knows this and acknowledged it in his Nightmare Aggressive Only completion. It also doesn't help that Markiplier showed his 2020 mode completion of FNAF 1 in its entirety. If he didn't want the footage to be repetitive, he definitely wouldn't have left it all in there, as FNAF 1 has the single simplest gameplay loop on top of having the longest nights.
It's also not really repetitive when the audience is there to see that. You know what I mean? No one was on TikTok back then. It wasn't like, oh, I just need the clip of the end of me receiving it. People were watching because, oh, the next video, Markiplier did his first 6 nights. That next video is the 1020, 1020, 420, one Nightmare mode. I mean, that is that next video coming up. So to have the argument, well, he's cutting away the boring parts. People are there for the boring parts. FNAF is a boring game to watch. I mean, sorry, it is a repetitive gameplay loop. It's never been fun because of the game. It's always been fun because of the creators and what they can do with the game. The game is almost like a sandbox. You can make a big sandcastle or you could dig a big hole. Either way, it's entertaining, but the sandbox itself isn't.
I just don't really see the argument here. And if you were to argue that Mark was editing his footage more as time went on and his channel evolved, then why did he also have his sister location 1020 win uncut as well in that video? It just doesn't really make any sense. The only other counter argument that I've seen, as funny as it sounds, is that Mark is just a lucky guy. Listen, I want to believe this as much as you guys do, but you have to remember that in this case, luck is the secondary aspect of what we're looking at here. The only reason that it was worth looking at the odds of these clips was because Mark reacted to the third star in the menu and cut the footage. If anyone got crazy luck on a full raw recording of 1020, there wouldn't be a reason to doubt it. The math just backs up the theory that he faked the run, but that theory was originally created from the strange cuts. There was also a counter-argument that because Mark said that he was playing for 9 hours, the probability should be adjusted for the amount of runs that he played in that time frame. I initially thought
9 hours is actually not a lot of time for runs. Even if you're doing 10 minutes a run, that's 10 minutes. Okay, let's even do 5. Let's give them benefit of the doubt, assuming you're dying early and whatnot. So 5, you get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Like, obviously, so 6, you get 8 runs an hour. 8 runs an hour times 9, which would be 9, 18, 36, 72. 72, I think. Yeah. So you're at 72 attempts for something that happened that's like a 1 in a couple billion chance. Like, that'd be like me going, well, you know, I got a shiny Pokemon Emerald, but I mean, I looked at 10 Pokemon. You gotta take that into consideration. It wasn't my first Pokemon I saw, it was my 10th Pokemon I saw. Like, no, the odds are still like, just out of this world. Like, unobtainable. But it's like the dream situation, so you're telling me it can happen? Well, yeah, it could. It didn't. Like, a tornado could go through a trailer park and somehow make a Mercedes on the other side. I mean, it can happen. But will it ever happen? No. And saying, well, that trailer park got hit by 4 different tornadoes, that doesn't raise the odds enough to make it, like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't add it up still.
About adjusting for this as well, but as I was talking to It's Taken about it, he brought up a good point. The odds of animatronics not appearing would only factor into the overall probability if they had a direct correlation to failing runs. For example, let's look at the ending clip. In the last 20 seconds of the night, whether or not BB or Mangle move doesn't matter. If they're just moving around, it has zero correlation to the win rate of the night at this point. Therefore, the number of runs that Mark played, it doesn't really affect anything. It only adjusts the probability by how likely you are to die to those characters in that situation. He could have played 1,000,000 runs, and the odds that Balloon Boy and Mangle produced by not moving during those last 20 seconds would be the exact same. If you compare this to something like XOR spawns and Ultimate Custom Night, where the win rate is very dependent on the RNG there, then attempt frequency matters much more. And hey, who knows? Maybe across all of these clips, Mark just had some spiritually insane luck, and if he posts the raw footage and it's somehow legit, I will retract everything I said in this video and call it a literal miracle. With that said, I do want to reiterate the point that I made at the start of this video. I do not hate Markiplier, and I do not want people to hate Markiplier. I just thought that it was cool to do an insanely deep dive into the code and math behind this little game called FNAF 2. People really wanted to see a deeper dive into this subject from when I first covered it in the technical FNAF Iceberg video, and I'm sorry it took so long to get this out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And hey, if you're new here, why not subscribe and check out some other videos that I have made where I take on some insane FNAF challenges. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please keep your thoughts to the comments of this video and channel. Don't harass Markiplier. Peace.
So, I have to also admit, because it's just a responsible thing to do, if you're watching my content instead of TheBones5, don't send hate to either Markiplier or TheBones5. Don't go to TheBones5 and go, well, you're calling Markiplier a cheater. He knows. I mean, that's the whole point of his video. And don't go to Markiplier and say, you cheated FNAF 2. If he cares about it, I guarantee you he knows this video is out there. Guaranteed. The video's going pretty big in the FNAF community. Markiplier's big in the FNAF community. I can assure you that Markiplier knows about the video. Like, so don't feel the need that you don't have to be the one to send it to him. Like, he's probably already seen it. So, if you're seeing my video on this, same logic applies. Do not go on Markiplier. When I call on people like Felicify, don't go with Felicify. When I call on people like Woofy FGC, don't go with Woofy FGC. If they care, they will reach out to the content creators and we would have our discussion on it. If TheBones5 doesn't want me to release a video talking about the video he makes, he will come to me to it. You don't have to go to TheBones5, go, hey, this kid reacted to you. This guy, actually, I think I'm actually older than him, which is so sad. I'm now watching content creators significantly younger than me. That's a part of life that no one prepares you for. When you start to watch wrestling, like WWE wrestling, and some of the champions are younger than you, yeah, no, it's heartbreaking. But, yeah. So, I don't really, at the end of the line, I already thought Markiplier cheated in the video. I think if you watch TheBones5, there is almost no way to walk away from it and think, oh, he didn't. I do wish he talked a little bit more about he cheated using just the animatronic, but why would he not add the other ones in there? And I guess it was to get the star, but people knew that that's not how you, like, doing the 1020 didn't get you the star. Like, it kind of, again, it seems weird. Like, he knows all this knowledge to go in, code a game, make it look like he won the 10-20 mode, but he didn't know enough about the game to know that that doesn't activate the star. Like, and it's also really weird that this is coming out like a decade later. That star should have been a dead giveaway even when it first happened. So it's kind of weird that that got put on the wayside. I don't know if that's just because of Markiplier's popularity. Like, all the people who criticized him for it got downvoted to the extreme. I don't think Markiplier has a toxic fan base. Trust me, there's some content creators out there, their fan bases are horrible. I don't think Markiplier is one of them. So I guess that's it. I just wanted to react and kind of give my opinion on the whole situation. Cheating in gaming communities is something I'm going to be kind of a big talker in. I do plan on eventually talking about WoofyFeetGC being a cheater in Pokemon, and that for FrLitSurvive being correct, but being so badly correct that it didn't matter. Like, this right here is, for those of you who do follow me for Pokemon content, this right here is the video that FrLitSurvive needed to make about WoofyFeetGC. Not anything personal, not any of the personal insults, just, hey, this is what happened. This is my proof. Like, that's all that needed to happen. The issue is, I think that most people can't do that. TheBones5 did it now twice. I think he comes across as super respectful in both the Iceberg video and this video. So now it's just a matter of what happens next. Probably nothing. I don't know why Markiplier would really care about it, because he's not... I mean, it was a decade ago. No one's going to care. Probably what should happen is Markiplier should probably on a live stream or something, when someone that does eventually ask him, because you know someone will, he should just go, oh yeah, I cheated. Yeah, the Bones5 is 100% correct. And then, dude, you want another 20 million view video, go back and actually complete it for real. Do a live stream. Do a charity event doing it. Bring the Bones5 in. Have the Bones5 teach you how to do it. Do something like that. I mean, I've seen streams of people doing that where it's like, oh, they're doing a live stream of FNAF. I'll jump in and tell them a bunch of secrets in it. Like, I mean, there's outcomes here. And if Markiplier did that, you'd be lifting the Bones5 up even further. That's respect. That is respect in the community. Like, that, if I was Markiplier, that's what I would suggest to do. Like, have the Bones5 help you. Do like a charity stream or something. Shout out the Bones5. Have him come help you win it, or at least attempt it. And then it's almost like a forgiveness to the community, admitting your downfalls, boosting up this other creator. Like, you do a bunch of things at the same time there. A lawyer perspective, or keep your nose clean perspective is, just shut your mouth on it. Just don't talk about it. No one's going to care in a couple months anyways. So, like, people already knew about this. If you saw the Iceberg video, I mean, he's 100% right. It's so obviously cheated. And honestly, the Bones5 could have even got more diabolical and claimed that he cheated 3 and 4 as well. I mean, nevertheless, for those of you who have watched this far, thank you. I know my content is really weird because I will react to a 40-minute video and the raw footage of my reaction will be 2 hours long. I look at that as being a good content creator. I don't just put on a video and walk away. If you wanted to watch the video, you would watch their video, and you should. Anything I react to, you should go watch for yourself if you want to. Even if I hate the thing I'm reacting to, go watch it, because that's what I think content creators who do reaction content should promote. I also think my content eventually, I want people to put me on as like a 2-hour background noise. I'm not here to be that person where it's like, here's a super good video. I don't have a good enough PC to do hardcore editing. I'm not that good at editing. What I am good at is talking, voicing my opinion, and telling you what I think and why I think it. And right now, I think Markiplier cheated. He deserves to be called out for it, and the Bones5 did a call out of a cheater in the best way physically possible, while I'm also watching the Pokemon community have the opposite issue of someone calling out a cheater in the worst way possible. I can compare that into my life and kind of learn from there and go where I want to go from that. So if you enjoyed the video, thank you guys for watching, and we'll hit the outro now. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or stick around to watch another video.